Hi, Happy New Year, Happy 2021. Martin and I are here to do the meditation for the new moon, which takes place on January 12th, 2021 at 11 p.m. here in the Central Time Zone. And so one of the things I wanted to let you all know about is that there are some aspects that are being made astrologically during this new moon that we all maybe need to be aware of as we move through this time. The first one is that the sun and the moon are very close to Pluto, and the sun and the moon kind of trigger events as they move through. They're very quick moving and they tend to trigger events. Pluto is slow and moves very slowly, as you may already know. And Pluto tends to bring us situations that are transformative or have the potential to be transformative, but can be somewhat difficult to live through in the short term. And one example of this is this virus, for example. Pluto rules viruses. And so, we think about the way that this is likely going to transform things about the way that we do things, already has. And so sun and moon coming in there within Pluto's circle are potentially going to trigger something else that may be a transformative event. Surely not another virus, but there are other things. The other aspect or group of aspects that I wanted to tell you about are Mars. And Mars is making a bunch of what we call hard aspects. So these are situations where things don't really come easily, but when we work on them and we do resolve them, they become strengths. And so in this next few days, weeks, what I would say is be aware of the way that you're speaking, the way that you're saying things. Be aware of the tendency for frustrations and angers to rise up, potentially boil over. Be extra careful in your relationships as there's an aspect to Venus. And go ahead and work on, in a deliberate and conscious way, your boundaries. And be aware that things may shift and change. So these are a lot of things that are potentially challenging, but potential real. People talk about the growing edge, and so Mars can bring us this growth if we learn how to work with it instead of against it. So, shall we get started with our meditation?
Sure.
Okay, lovely. So, I invite you to rest in your position that you're in your chair, on your couch, seated on the floor, wherever you are right now. I invite you to rest into that spot. Feel yourself arrive. Feel the support beneath you that is holding you up. And beneath that support, feel the earth holding us all up as we hurtle through space. And as we think about this activity of hurtling through space, we can envision ourselves flowing with the motion of the earth. We're both stable and moving. And that's a beautiful place to be. That's a beautiful balance. And so we rest in this balance. And I would invite you to notice your breath at this moment. And as we breathe into the belly. Allow that belly to expand. Get your Buddha belly. And I would invite you to breathe in, hold your breath, and release. Let's do that again. Nice deep breath into the belly. Hold and release. And then continue breathing at your own pace and whatever feels comfortable for you. As we turn our attention to our connection with the ground. If you're sitting in a chair, this will be your feet. If you're sitting on the floor or lying down, you can feel this coming up through your spine. And drawing upon the energy of the earth, we would like to draw that up into our bodies right now. Allowing that energy to flow, opening ourselves, opening our bodies and our minds to the flow of the energy from planet Earth. And we allow that energy to flow up and into our first chakra at the base of our spine. And we envision that turning, rotating. We can envision that if you meditate in color, you can envision that as a red orb or a red being or a red whatever works for you, however you want to envision that. And the root chakra is all about, I have the right to be here. And so we want to acknowledge and inhabit that right. We are allowed to be here. We are welcome on this planet. We are welcome in this space. We are welcome with our loved ones and friends. And as we keep breathing, we allow that energy to rise up a little farther, and we get to the sacral chakra. For those of you who are paying attention to the colors, this chakra is an orange color. And so we inhabit the color of orange for a few moments. We let that seep into our consciousness. And the sacral chakra is about creativity, generativity, the ability to bring things into being, to bring children into being, to bring what we have to offer and bring it out. And then breathing again, we let that energy rise. And we come to the solar plexus, and this is just about at the rib cage, just under the rib cage. And this color is yellow. And we bathe in that yellow light, that yellow energy. This chakra is about wisdom and awareness of our intuition. This is where gut feelings come into play. And sometimes when we know something in our gut, we are tapping into the energy of the solar plexus. So let's meditate in that, and let's bask in that for a few moments. And then we allow that energy to rise a little bit farther until it reaches the heart chakra. And the heart chakra, the color of the heart is green, representing life, representing the beauty of nature. And we imagine our heart chakra opening. We imagine our heart opening. And we can actually imagine that opening both forward, out the front of our chest, and backward, out our back. And we just allow that to fall open and rest in that energy. Moving on, we bring that energy up to our throat. And the throat chakra is blue. Blue is also the color in unity of our imagination center. And the throat chakra is about knowing and also speaking our truth. Sometimes when we have a hard time speaking what we know to be true, we can feel a tenseness and a tightness here in our throat. And so as we breathe, we allow that throat to relax and open. And anytime we are struggling with finding the right words, we can focus on that chakra, on that blue, that beautiful blue chakra. Relax our neck, our throat, and find our truth so that we can speak it. And then allowing that energy to come up just a bit farther, we reach the third eye. And the third eye is also, it's not just on the forehead, it's also in the center of the brain, and it's the pituitary gland. And that third eye is about seeing, not just seeing the physical world around us, but seeing within, seeing the truth of situations that we encounter, seeing the heart and the truth of others. And the color here is a deep indigo blue. And then last of all, as we let that energy rise to the top of our head, we encounter the crown chakra. And this orb, this wheel, is either white, a bright white light, or amethyst purple. Both of these colors signify the crown chakra, and the crown chakra is that point at which we begin to encounter the divine. It's where we can feel this energy just pop right through, right out the tops of our heads, and come out and flow around us in a beautiful toric field. And we also allow that energy to flow directly up, where it connects with the rest of humanity, where it connects with the divine, in whatever way you envision that divine being or divine energy. And so let's feel that energy flow as it flows up our legs or up into our spines, all the way up through each of the chakras, making a brief stop before coming out the top of our heads and connecting with the greater collective. And as we continue this flow of energy, allowing this energy to continue doing its thing, we call in our guides, our guardians, angels, ascended masters. They are always with us, but the action of us calling them in is more for us to touch in with them and remember that they are here. They're not coming from anywhere else. They're already gathered around us at all times. And we just have to remember that and focus on that and bring our awareness to that fact. And so as we notice that our guides, guardians, angels, and ascended masters are with us, we invite them to take a seat, sit next to us, sit in a circle, sit around us in a circle as we continue this meditation.
As we continue to go deeper into this process of connection with our experiences and with all of the planets and stars moving as they are, we open ourselves up to the transformative power that this process brings, the transformative power of the energy of the new moon. As that new moon begins to awaken, we feel that energy of light coming back into the moon, being reflected from the sun. And in this time, we find that we are shifting, changing, processing all the things that are going on for us. So as we hold that space, I invite you just to let go, allow yourself to float into the process of the moon at its newest point, experiencing those first rays of light as it lights up and begins to flow forth in its cycle of 21 days. And in that process, we know the energy and the power that is moving us forward. We are moving forward in our own decisions, in the way that we show up. We open our hearts up to receive that light. And in the process of that, we feel that emotion grow within us as we begin creation. It may not be something that is huge. It may be something very small, much like a tiny seed in us that is growing. But as this moon is birthed, so is this opportunity to see the germination and the growth that can come for us in this time. as we take this process of how the experience of the planets operating together, this is a powerful opportunity at this moment to work on speaking our mind in a process of being conscious of what we are saying, what we speak to others, and what we speak to ourselves. We become conscious of the boundaries that we have that are that good energy that supports our own self-protection, giving us the ability to say no when it's needed, to be able to see that process of allowing not just the first answer that we think of when something comes towards us, I invite you to see that as possibly a blue light that is coming your direction. And you have a choice to join in that or to allow that to flow around you, to provide a shield of protection. And so we also have an opportunity to become flexible, to allow ourselves to not be so rigid that we block everything, but that we are able to flow and move in a flexible way as things shift around us during this creative time. And then I invite us also now to experience a connection with a relationship that you may have, and to find the connection of the deepest kindness in those relationships, in the connections that you make, allowing yourself to be compassionate, to spend a little bit of the energy that you have in listening, in caring, in paying attention consciously to what is needed. And as we fill that energy, the area of energy that we are working with, we allow ourselves to open to that first beam of light, as the moon will receive at this new moon as it begins to lighten up. Feel yourself holding that space, feeling the emotions that are going on in the process, but not holding so tight that it's too rigid. We also experience at this time an awakening to our own consciousness. And as things shift, as they always do, we'll feel that connection that we are choosing to support ourselves in this process as we become that reflecting light source as well. So I invite you to feel the vibration as we do an Om together. So as we breathe deeply into the belly, and now we rest in this moment, listening to the reflection of that sound coming back to us radiantly. And as we bring this meditation to a close, we will allow ourselves just to wiggle your fingers and toes, gently bringing yourselves back to this moment, to the experience of the here, now. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
So the next full moon, join us for that meditation as well. That will take place on January 28th at 1:16 p.m. Central Time. Thank you for joining us. I hope that this meditation has been as good for you as it has been for me. And we'll see you again at the end of January. Namaste.
Namaste. If you are finding connection with the astrology that you hear in this, please feel free to connect in with sunnysastrology.com and find out more about how to get your own personal reading if you're interested.